Hi, I'm Amy Barnhart, and this is Dr. Dana Fillmore, clinical psychologist and marriage and family expert, and author of Happily Ever After, How to Be Happily Married to the One You Already Married. Welcome back to our regular series where we'll be answering your questions. So let's get right to it. This question is from Joe, and he asks, how do you improve your marriage after years and years of disappointment, time and time again?
Well, I don't have him here, so I don't. Disappointment in what would sort of be I'm interested in. I would. That's sort of a complicated question because disappointment in their sex life would be the first thing I would assume. Disappointment in trust, disappointment in each other that they've just never. I mean, I don't know what that's about. Although we say all the time, and that when you're trying to fix your marriage, fixing your marriage is like fixing your car, right? You don't just change the spark plugs and expect everything to get better. You have to fix all kinds of the parts to make the car run well. So regardless of what disappointment he's talking about, I would definitely take a look at fixing all different parts of his marriage. There is nothing about it. Could have been 20 years that they were not connecting, 20 years that they were not in love, 20 years that means nothing about whether they can change now, grow now, learn to love each other again, learn to discover who they are now, because I can guarantee you they've changed from 20 years previously. And there's lots of stuff that they can do. And again, that we talk about learning the skills. We talk about figuring that out. So the way to get over that is to change. The way to get over that is to grow. The way to get over that is to figure out what was so disappointing and not do that anymore. And that takes learning how and knowing some new information. So I would say, just because it's been happening for a long time doesn't mean that a marriage can't change. It can change at any time for the better if one party or hopefully both parties work on it. But again, without knowing exactly what he's disappointed in,
there isn't that. Unfortunately, I don't have any more detail. But one other thing I was hoping you could add is how you talk a lot about your mood is your choice and what you focus on. So, I mean, could it be that maybe in these years and years and years of disappointment, maybe he's focusing on the disappointment instead of embracing some of the joyful moments that were perhaps there?
Absolutely.
So, I mean, you can give some advice on how to be happy in the moment no matter what's happening.
Well, again, I think that, let me back up with that and say when we have a wound or we've been injured in a particular way, and maybe more than once, we're very sensitive to that. We're very hypersensitive to that. So, and it's possible that becomes the thing that we focus on the most. So in a week period, maybe, that he was only disappointed one time, but because that's such an old wound and a deep wound, he's missing all the other wonderful things that happened that week, but that one thing really defines the week. So first he has to look at that wound. He has to talk about it. He has to figure out where it came from and heal a little bit of that. So it's not just going to be I recognize that your mood is your choice, and I agree with you on that, but it's also he's got to figure out why that one sore spot is the thing that he keeps paying attention to. So if your theory is correct, that maybe he's missing all of the things that were not disappointing, it's because there's something that's really hurting him time and time again. So he's got to figure that out. But yes, in answer to your question, one of the biggest mistakes that people make, I think, in life, frankly, not even in marriage, is that they feel like they're a victim of their mood. They're a victim of their environment. They're a victim of everybody else. I had a bad day at work today. I'm in a bad mood. Really? You're in charge of your mood. You can decide. You can focus on your boss and that he was a jerk that day, or you can focus on your beautiful children and your home that you love and your wife who makes you laugh and the fact that you have dinner on the table and a roof over your head. Though there's a choice at all moments, and that's kind of a Zen higher learning sort of state of being. But we all want to err towards really remembering that we're in charge of our mood, we're in charge of how we feel, and we're really not victims of the outside world. So.
Right. Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. If you'd like your question answered, please ask it in the comment box below, because this is a regular series and we want to help as many people as we can. And if you'd like even more powerful free relationship advice from Dr. Dana, click on the link below the video. Thanks so much for watching.
Talk to you soon.